Just to introduce myself, my name is Marco Garcia. I am one of the co-founders and the chief operating officer here at Rocktomic Labs. And like I said, we have a doctor here, Richard Kelley. So please, Richard, go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we'll dive right into the testimonial video.
Yeah, great to be here with you, Marcus. I'm Dr. Richard Kelley. I'm actually an ER physician, but I've got a background in fitness and weight management. And my wife and I had a fitness and weight management clinic here in Austin for about a decade. And so I've always had an interest in supplementation, and so that was part of what brought me to Rocktomic, and because we used a number of supplements with our clientele when we had our fitness and weight management clinic up and running. But I'm a full-time ER doctor at this point in time, and but I've wanted to expand the scope of the supplements that we have been using for a number of years. So
Perfect. Yeah, I always say doctors are our best clients because you guys are in the health and wellness industry. And a lot of you guys are already recommending supplements to your patients. And so it makes total sense to have your own supplement brand so that you can monetize, right? Referring your patients to supplementation, to products. And so it makes total sense, right, to have your own supplement brand.
right, absolutely. Yeah, one thing I'll tell you, Marco, I'm my background, I became certified in bariatric or weight management medicine, and part of the part of what bariatric physicians typically do in the United States is they prescribe a lot of appetite suppressants. And so I was had certified to be able to do that, and we certainly did that for patients who wanted pharmaceutical prescription appetite suppression. But one of the things that I realized early on is that there were quite a few of our patients who didn't want to be on any type of pharmaceutical medication. They wanted something more organic. They wanted something that they perceived as being more natural. And so that was really what got us looking into what else can we offer our patients besides prescription stimulant type of appetite suppressants. And so and I found that our patients who did supplement with a variety of things that we had to offer them, which a lot of them were pretty basic things, omega-3s, sometimes fiber filler type of non-stimulant appetite suppressants, and things like that. They stuck with our program longer because it was part of their process. So,
Yeah.
and I think the other thing is that, people are more interested in supplementation nowadays than they ever have been. And I think people are frustrated with big pharma to a great degree. And a lot of people don't want to be on prescription pharmaceuticals if they don't have to. And they're looking for other ways to take care of themselves. And people, doctors are on supplements. And so I think that we're becoming more inclined to at least suggest supplements to our patients that they can try, or incorporate into their overall health program.
Right. Yeah, there's always the dilemma of, okay, pharmaceuticals can help a lot, right, on alleviating
Absolutely.
pain and suffering and so forth, but there's always the side effects, right? There's always the negative aspect of pharmaceuticals. And so great thing about supplements is that they're vitamins, minerals, they're ingredients that, only add to your nutrition, to your wellness. And so there's definitely a trend, especially now in the US, there's definitely a trend of people wanting to access like natural supplements, natural products, ingredients, things that are going to do more of the healing than, healing with the damaging, right? Or just alleviating with the damaging, right, of side effects. And so, yeah, any doctor that wants to uh, monetize further their clinics, their practices, having their own supplement brand, is definitely the way to go, right? So it's a super crucial tool to grow financially in all aspects and helping your patient, helping your clients in a better way, right? Than just recommending pharmaceuticals. So we're definitely on the same page there. So let me ask you, Richard, the first question, which is, when you decided to start your supplement business, what were some of the challenges that you saw with starting this venture, right? Where, you can refer to, dealing with manufacturers or suppliers, or maybe looking for products. Like, what were some of the difficulties that you found when you said, okay, I want to do my own supplement brand and business, and I need to start somewhere, and then you did, and then you found those challenges. Like, what are some of those blocking stones that you found?
Right. I think one of the biggest that anybody who is considering doing this faces is that is number one, I think finding a company that is reputable and who is producing or supplying product that is what it says that it is. And so I think that that's one thing that it's not always clear to somebody who wants to white label a product or start their own supplement company. It's like, who do you turn to? Who do you who is getting product from reputable sources, and what is in that product. And so that I think that was one of the things that has always been an issue for us, especially because I did have a weight management clinic and we were directly providing supplements for our patients. I want to make sure that what we're giving them is what it is, and made of quality ingredients. And so that's number one, is like, who do you associate yourself with to obtain product from. And then I think the second thing is the minimum order. A lot of the companies that I reached out to for various products, and this has been just over a number of years over the past decade, is that it's difficult in some cases to obtain a product that you would like to use without having to buy a large inventory.
Right.
And it can be pretty costly, and you don't necessarily know whether that product is going to resonate with your patient population, or whether you're going to be able to move it. And so I think it can be expensive to just outlay a lot of money for one particular product that you may be considering utilizing as a supplement to utilize in your practice. And so those are just a couple of things. I think the other thing is that I have ordered product branded with our particular brand in the past, and we hit kind of a slow spell at one point in time, and the supplier that we're using assumed that we just weren't in business anymore, and they basically got rid of all of our labels and just
Wow.
X'd us from the system. So
Yeah.
there are
That's
a
not
few things there are a few headaches that people can run into in doing this.
understood. Yeah, so basically quality of product, the high MOQs that normally suppliers and manufacturers require. And you're right, like when you're not a big fish, when you're not buying tons and tons of inventory, usually manufacturers and suppliers just, don't pay attention to you, and they could even delete your labels, like you said. So yeah, that's actually pretty normal, and it happens a lot more than you would think in the industry. And so you started looking for options, and then you found Rocktomic Labs. So when you found Rocktomic Labs, can you elaborate on what motivated you to work with us and start your account with Rocktomic?
There are a few things. For one thing, I really didn't realize that there was a business model out there doing what you're doing. And I think that There may be others, but I don't know if there's anyone doing exactly what Rocktomic is doing. But I think the fact that there are no specific minimums for a particular item. And if I want to purchase a bottle of, you know, um, omega-3 fish oil, for instance, if I just want to check it out, I could order a bottle from your company. I think the other thing I always, because in our clinic, we practice something that we call fitness-based weight management. And what I felt was unique about that was that I was able to take what I could bring to the table for our patients from a medical standpoint, which is writing prescription appetite suppressants and things like that. But I was marrying that approach with what I knew helped change the body from a fitness standpoint, and basically teaching a lot of things that we know work from the world of fitness and bodybuilding and things like that. And so in addition to the handful of supplements that we had already branded back in the day, I'd always wanted to expand and add protein powders, creatine, branched chain amino acids, and more of the sports and fitness supplement end of that, in addition to what we were doing. Because, like I say, our patient population, we had people who came to us and some of them only wanted a prescription appetite suppressant. That's all they wanted. They didn't want dietary advice. They didn't want the fitness advice. And then we had this other component of our patient population who didn't want that, but they wanted supplements. They wanted guidance from the standpoint of exercise and fitness and how to change the body through weight training. And so it would have been nice back in the day when our clinic was open to to be able to offer them protein powders and creatine and some of the things that we know help support changing the body and staying healthy and fit. And so that was a big reason that and when I first connected with Rocktomic, I didn't really know the full scope of what I would be able to offer to the clientele that I'm involved with at this point in time. And so that's been a pleasant surprise all across the board. So
Perfect. Yeah, definitely being able to offer a lot of products and without the component of having to buy inventory, because that's what we always say in our marketing, in our presentations. We say to launch with one product, you have to buy a lot of inventory for that one product. But imagine if you want to add 5, 10, 15, 20 other products, like you have to buy MOQs for each one of those.
absolutely.
And so it just makes it super difficult. It gates basically the ability to expand your offering and monetizing it further, right? So it's good, and that's why we have the model that we have, where you can just start with products without buying the inventory up front, and then that gives you the chance to test the product, see if it moves, and in your clinic, it could be that a lot of people buy whey protein, but it could be also that they don't buy creatine for whatever reason. So,
Absolutely.
so if it's on demand and you're buying product on demand from Rocktomic, then you just pay for creatine because you're not selling the creatine. But then if you were to buy, both products at large inventory amounts from a manufacturer, then you would end up stuck with the creatine, and that's a big problem because you would have your capital just allocated and sitting there without being able to reinvest it, right, and to continue growing. So it's one of the core, definitely one of the core items of our business model is not asking our clients to buy MOQs, to buy inventory, because we understand the risk of doing so. And I can talk about it firsthand, like the times that we have invested on a product and we have offered it to our clients to sell it, through our drop shipping model. And sometimes those products just don't sell well enough, like we've lost money, right? So we buy 1,000 units or 2,000 units of a product, and then our clients are not able to sell it for whatever reason. Maybe the product is not hot enough. maybe the product, there's not a lot of demand right now in the market, and then we take that risk. But the idea is that we do that, not our clients, not you guys. And so it's a good match, definitely.
Yeah, I think that that's a game changer. Yeah, I think the other thing too is because your catalog, has a considerable amount of depth, is that especially for doctors who are wanting to offer supplements in their clinics, they have the capability of bundling things too, offering, certain um, supplements for anxiety or for sleep, along with protein powders and branched chain amino acids and more of the fitness. It's basically something that they could decide, you know, uh, what type of unique offerings they wanted to bundle together, and that makes it that's difficult to do if you are having to buy large quantities,
Correct.
just to be able to sell them.
No, and the good thing for your clients is that if they can buy, different products and bundle them up in a way that's going to provide them with better results. And and
Right.
and and if they have better results through your coaching, your, treatments, your recommendations on supplements, the better results they get, then that means more long-term business for you, right? Keeping that patient, keeping that client working with you for a longer time.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and that helps everybody, right? It helps your all your verticals that you're trying to implement in your business. All right, awesome. Well, the last question that I have for you is, how has your experience been so far with our onboarding process? Going through the product selection process, label design, web development, basically what your experience has been so far, like in full transparency.
Yeah, it has been it's been exceptional, to be honest. I have I'm not launching just one product, and so I think I think it's taken some work on my end, and I think it's been more work on y'all's end too, in terms of the label development and things like that. But it's been, it's been a methodical, well laid out process. It's been great working more directly with you on this. I don't know. I think if I didn't have your guidance through a lot of this process, Marco, I probably would have dragged my feet, and I don't think we would be as far along as we are. And and one thing I will say, I mean, your process, you lay it out and give clear direction about, how the process goes, what's required of the client at this end, up to the point of um, you know checking off the labels and reviewing everything and being very thorough and methodical and everything, all the way up to the point to where, yeah, and y'all encourage this to order, at least a certain amount of the products that we're working to create, so that we can look at the labels, directly. And one of the things that in your in some of the information that y'all had provided, gave the option for upgrading the labels, I guess the type of label that could be used. And so I was like, well, I wonder what the label's going to look like. But everything that I have ordered from the standpoint of samples in my particular branding, the quality of the labels is really great. It rivals anything that I've gotten from other pharmaceutical companies that I've worked with. And it's just really attractive, nice quality labeling. And so, my expectations going forward in terms of other product that we may end up doing through Rocktomics, I feel like I've got a lot of trust in what the quality of the product is going to look like, because everything that I've received so far looks really great. And
Awesome.
I think,
Well,
one other thing I'll say about,
sure.
why um, what appealed to me about working with your company is that y'all do the third party testing on everything. And I know if I had launched the products, the handful of products that we already have branded and had through our clinic years, if I and to sell them through Amazon or something like that, now they're requiring um, people who want to sell through Amazon to send their products to them, either to them or have them third party tested themselves. And I know that it's expensive. And I think for somebody just launching a supplement brand, that can be cost prohibitive. Even for one supplement, I think that can be expensive.
Yeah, no, definitely, especially with the testing that's required now. So
Sure.
the game has changed a lot for selling on Amazon. So all right, well,
But
awesome. Thank
and
you.
I think the fact that y'all, that you have that y'all take your each product through that testing process, and provide certification of that. That says a lot. That gives me a lot of confidence. I think it should give other people confidence that the products that y'all are um, producing and providing for people who want to create a product themselves. That says a lot. I don't know how many companies, even who might do something similar to Rocktomic, provide that type of oversight. And that may and as a physician, that makes me feel good because I want things that I'm offering our patients and clients to be high quality supplements and to contain what the label says it contains.
Correct. No, yeah, that's super important. Well, thank you for sharing your experience. And me and my partners at Rocktomic, we've always battled between, having clients go through like a super fast onboarding process or actually taking it step by step. And even though it's kind of like a battle, because we have to balance the two, right? We want to make sure that you guys quickly launch, but at the same time that you're doing it properly. um,
Right.
there's a component there that it remains, which is if we help our clients go through the process like step by step and making sure that the product selection is being done properly, making sure that the labels are compliant with FDA regulations, making sure that the website is developed in a way that is also compliant with FTC and FDA regulations. Like there's so many things that we want to look after that sometimes it makes the process a little bit lengthy, but the step by step onboarding process that we have is designed to help you being successful, right? We just don't want to onboard hundreds of thousands of people like in a few days and just leave them at that, right? The idea is to make sure that you guys have like a full real onboarding experience, and that takes a little bit of time. There's steps there to complete. um, and what you said in regards to product quality, yeah, like we have to have products that has been third party tested, to make sure that what's in the product is what's on the labels and vice versa. Because we are talking about the health of people, right? We're talking about the health of clients, and that's not something to take lightly.
Yeah.
Um, when we have made purchase orders from our manufacturing partners and they don't give us the third party testing or the COAs, like we don't pay the invoices. We say, hey, send me the COAs, send me the certificates of analysis to make sure that everything was tested, to make sure everything is good, is in good standing before we actually finalize the order. And so we take a lot of care and attention to that particular. Quality of product is the number one thing, right? If we are providing you guys with quality products and therefore you guys are selling to your customers quality product, you're going to have return customers every time. And so that's super important. Well, thank you, Richard, for your video testimonial.
You
And
bet.
thank you also for choosing Rocktomic as your platform to create and launch your business. We definitely appreciate you and everything you've done so far. And so we look forward to having you launch, hopefully within a few days or maybe a couple of weeks. But we look forward to seeing you launch and then see how you can do with your sales, your marketing, and hopefully you'll be one of the next success stories that we have here at Rocktomic Labs.
Well, I hope so. And I will say this, that you know, you guys have made it easy to go through this process. You know, it is methodical. It does take, you know, I'm glad it hasn't just been a super fast, slick sort of you know, a process that doesn't take the care that I think it deserves. And so it's been you know, uh, there are a lot of moving parts, I think, when you're starting a business, and you know, certain things take time and due diligence and patience and things like that. And so, but I feel really good about this, and I'm happy to be working with you and everybody at Rocktomic. So I'm
Awesome.
happy to share my experience. So
No, the feeling is mutual. So thank you so much, Richard, and thank you for your time today for this testimonial. And so let's continue working and finalizing your onboarding process and get you live, ASAP, and seeing how you can do. Like I said, our doctors are our best clients. They're the ones who do the best because they just have, the component of being in the health industry. And so a supplement company and a product being recommended directly by you and being offered by you has like a lot of power. So
absolutely.
we're confident that you're going to do super well with our business model. So thanks again. Have a good day, and talk to you soon. Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you, Marco.
All right. Bye.